Jones. So if you would please join me in a moment of silence for firefighter Jones and his family. Thank you. That reminds us of the responsibility that these two gentlemen have to not only keep our community safe, but to keep the folks, the men and the women that are in here in uniform today, of keeping them safe throughout their career. So we strive to do that, but we're still reminded this is a very dangerous occupation, whether it's roof operations, working in a building that's nearly to the point of flashover, collapse, but now we're learning things about our hearts, our exposure to carcinogens, and exposure to that day in, day out emotional trauma that we see. So as leaders in our organization, it's your responsibility to a large degree to make sure that everyone goes home. Captain Woodmansee, on your side of it, you have a crew that goes into battle and you have a great responsibility for them. And you have a direct relationship with Mrs. Smith. To Assistant Fire Marshal Kimball, you have a great responsibility for the built environment. Every day you are working to not only prevent fires from occurring, but to also prevent fires growing to that level to where things collapse or there's flashover. You know, just so for everybody here knows that I'm a huge sprinkler proponent, and he is our structures and systems guy, that there's still never been a multiple fatality fire in a building that is fully sprinklered and the sprinkler system is operational. There has never been a firefighter killed in a building where a sprinkler system is operational for traumatic reasons from the fire. It just hasn't happened. There's been firefighters die going to those calls. There's been medical emergencies on those calls that have caused those deaths, but traumatic cause of death has not happened. That's a great responsibility you have on your shoulders, and we appreciate that. And we appreciate you coming to the PFA, and we'll talk about that in a moment. First, I like to express a few quotes, and I've talked from this guy before. Eddie Kilduff used to be the fire chief of the fire department of New York City. And the fire chief of New York is a little different than it is here. The political side of the New York Fire Department, the person who works with the mayor and the commissioner or the councilors and the city government, that's the commissioner. When you look at the FDNY, the fire chief is the operations side of the house. It's a tested position. And Eddie Kilduff he was fire chief probably about 6 or 7 years ago. And again, from the book, Pass It On. But he talks about leaders. He has a few bullet points in Billy Goldfeder's book. To always be alert and ready. This is life and death that we're talking about here. Full PPE at all times. No halfway or you'll pay the price. Every run means something, even if it's training. Always evaluate the risk-reward and rely on your training and experience. Ask questions, ask questions, ask questions. Live, breathe, and eat professionalism. Same thing for dedication and commitment. Depend on each other, look out for each other. And respect the brotherhood and sisterhood. So when we arrive at the firehouse or we arrive in fire prevention, we know that we have folks that kind of, you go in, you're very positive. You're new at the job. You're the new captain. You're the new assistant fire marshal, came from outside. Man, I'm going to change this place. I'm going to make it positive. We're going to go. And all of a sudden you run up against, let's call it Sluggo. And Sluggo's like, no. These medical runs, they're BS. For that fire prevention stuff, that's BS. I don't know why we're doing all this EMS work. I came here to fight fires. We know that's not true in our culture. Politicians and bean counters are all against us. Partial PPE is acceptable, that'll work. And the reason I throw those out is because at PFA, our culture, out on the line. And Chief Mulligan is here, who helped build that culture 40 years ago. Wow. That's not the attitude we have here. I look out and I see people that I hear stories about going on homeless people, and it may be the 5th time that day, and that homeless person gets the same respect as if that crew was going to pick up Wade Troxel, our mayor. That's amazing. So as leaders, when you see those things, when you see any inklings of those, it's a great time to nip it in the bud. And finally, from Chief Kilduff, be diligent about your job, understand your role in the team, have integrity, be faithful to yourself and your profession. Make training and safety the 2 most critical components of being a firefighter, assistant fire marshal, whatever your role may be. So the last thing I want to quote is Billy Goldfeder from this book. And we talk about, we had a fire last night. Or we had an extrication. We didn't have the fire. Mrs. Smith had the fire. Through our training, through our convictions, our commitments to excellence, to all those components of what we are as a culture of PFA, that's how we inherit Mrs. Smith's fire. We are so dedicated to our customer, that becomes ours. And I thought that was a great thing that Chief Goldfeder talked about. And I think that's another thing that we embrace in our culture, is that Mrs. Smith had a fire and we made it ours to be better for Mrs. Smith. I try to say it every time I'm here, and I say it consistently when I'm in the public. There's a great amount of trust that's given to us in this fire service profession. What other profession is there on the planet where Mrs. Smith will hand her lifeless 2-year-old child to a complete and total stranger and expect great outcomes from that? That is something that we have to cherish, that we have to protect, and that we have to carry on into the future. And you both being youngsters, carry that into the future. So let's get to the moment of truth, and that is the promotion of these 2 gentlemen. Get it. Greg Kimball comes to us from the private world, working, can't remember the firm.
Turf Consulting.
Which one?
Turf Consulting.
Turf Consulting? As a fire protection engineer. We have a fire protection engineer on staff that has a stamp, right?
Not yet.
Getting
Working
it.
on it.
Dang it, I thought you had this stamp. Well, there's something we got to check. No. But our new assistant fire marshal follows in the steps of Ron Gonzalez, and our thoughts and prayers go out to Ron as he continues to heal. And then Division Chief Howell was in that position briefly, and Greg comes with an immense amount of education from Oklahoma State University, and I will say this, I won't say my joke, but Oklahoma State University, but Oklahoma State, for the fire protection engineers they put out, they are the premier in this country. There's these cats out on the East Coast in Maryland and Worcester Polytech that they study in a different world than the folks at OSU. The program at OSU is street applicable. It applies directly. The folks I've seen come out of OSU have that direct communication to the folks on the line. And we're always proud when we can get somebody that has that background. He did have a really ugly sweater at the Christmas party at it had OSU on it, and of course we got to bust his chops a bit about Oklahoma State, especially being a KU fan in basketball coming around. Yeah, KU's coach did come from Oklahoma State, though.
He did. He's always said he wanted to go back.
Yeah, but he's not going to. The other thing, some of the things you may not know, he's got this educational background. He's worked in the world of fire protection already. He's a paramedic. And so he knows the response side of what we do. He knows it intimately. His job, though, is interrupting the fire, whether it's the ignition of the fire or the growth of the fire. His job is to do that before we arrive. In fact, we are recording, if we intercede before flashover, from the work our folks in CSS are doing, because that's part of the total fire protection system. So he's fitting in. He's been here just a few months. We'd like you to stand up and like Judge Lane to come forward. And we're going to swear you in. And before we start the swearing, I would like for you to present this to your lovely bride. This is our tradition of presenting flowers to, or a token of our appreciation to the spouses or the families of our folks getting promoted, because the two families merge together, the family of the PFA and your family at home. So it's just a recognition of our appreciation for you and the commitment you have to make, because we're using him all the time.
Thank you.
So we appreciate that. So Judge Lane?
All right, raise your right hand. Say I, state your name,
I, Greg Kimball,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of Assistant Fire Marshal
the duties of Assistant Fire Marshal
of Poudre Fire Authority
of Poudre Fire Authority
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
uphold the Constitution and laws
uphold the Constitution and laws
of the United States and the state of Colorado,
of the United States and the state of Colorado,
and the rules and regulations,
and the rules and regulations,
policies, procedures,
policies, procedures,
and values, mission, and vision
values, mission, and vision
of the Poudre Fire Authority,
of the Poudre
Poudre
Fire
Fire
Authority,
Authority, and to faithfully perform my duties
and to faithfully perform my duties
to the best of my
to
ability.
the best of my ability.
I do also swear
I do also swear
that I will at all times
that I will at all times
promote safety as the highest priority,
promote safety as the highest priority,
and that I will work to maintain
and I will work to maintain
my own physical and mental fitness,
my own physical and mental fitness,
both on and off the job.
both on and off the job.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Greg, you've been carrying this. This is your badge. This badge represents your authority as an assistant fire marshal. I'm proud to give it back to you. But, we're welcome you, and we're glad you're here, and now we'd like a couple of words. They didn't tell you that part, did they?
They did not. They did not. Yeah, I love to be put on the spot. I'm really honored to have the opportunity to come serve Poudre Fire Authority and all the people that we serve in our jurisdiction. I've always loved the idea of, like Tom was mentioning, that this is the only job in the world where literally day in and day out, all you have to do is do whatever you can to keep everybody safe. And that's all you have. That's the driving factor, is life safety, fire prevention, community risk reduction. So I'm honored to have the opportunity to further that mission for PFA. Thank you.
So next, let me check real quick. Yeah, he's smiling. Check again. Yep, he's smiling. This guy came to our department with a smile on his face, and it's been there through thick and thin. He is a guy who finds positive things, and no matter what life deals to him. He's part of our longstanding PFA family. He has a brother-in-law who is one of our well-respected captains as well. Comes from a great family, and that's very obvious. So he serves with a servant's heart. It was very obvious coming through the interview process of his servant's heart and his outward mindset toward others, and that positive attitude is making and will make him a great captain. And he's got a long career ahead of him because he's really young, although despite some of that salt that's joining the pepper. And sooner or later it becomes all salt, right, Dad? It's distinguished. So, Josh, we're very proud of you. If you please rise, and I'm going to give you these to pass on to your lovely family. Oh, he's got a couple more too, so he planned. the families, I'm going to say this and try not to get emotional, but the families are really drawn into this occupation. One of the conversations with firefighter Jones, who lost his life last week, in the media throughout this last week was the last thing that she had told, one of the things she had told the division chief of operations was that she feared that he would show up on her porch in the middle of the night. That's why we honor our families, because that's something they go to bed with each and every night that their loved one is serving. So we want to honor you. We know that it's tough on both sides of this job, both providing the service and loving someone who's providing that service, so we honor you. So thank you, Josh, thanks for thinking of all of them. So if you want to stand back up, Judge Lane will come forward and we will do the oath of office.
All right, raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Josh Woodmansey,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of captain
the duties of Captain,
of Poudre Fire Authority
Poudre Fire Authority,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
uphold the Constitution and laws
uphold the Constitution and laws
of the United States and the state of Colorado,
of the United States and state of Colorado,
and the rules and regulations,
the rules and regulations,
policies, procedures,
policy, procedure,
and values, mission, and vision
and values, mission, and vision
of the Poudre Fire Authority,
of Poudre Fire Authority,
and to faithfully perform my duties
and to faithfully perform my duties
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
I do also swear
I do also swear
that I will at all times
that I will at all times
promote safety as the highest priority,
promote safety as the highest priority.
and that I will work to maintain
That I will work to maintain
my own physical and mental fitness,
my own physical and mental
Both
fitness,
both on and off the job.
both on and off the job.
Congratulations.
So now, nope, you're still up here, dude. So dude is a new word in Fort Collins now with our new football coach, you know. But you have your family that's going to put your bugles on, and you have the bugles. So if his family wants to come up and adorn our new captain with his bugles. As I've said many times, the bugles represent the authority of the captain. There's two of them, which equals the captain's rank, which is traditional in the military. The bugle is the way that the firefighters communicated on the old, back on the fire ground, and I say it every time. They probably worked a little better than most of our 800 megahertz radios. Thank you, Motorola. But they represent that to crews to know who the leader is. Josh is the leader. They'll be very clear who the leader is of that crew without being autocratic. So our tradition is the families to put that on without too much bloodletting. And now, please stay there. And now I have the honor of pinning Josh's badge on. And this badge it's different than a firefighter's badge of the Groves. It has an eagle on top. It has two bugles in the middle of it representing that rank. And it's with great honor that I pin this on you.
Yes. Sorry they didn't tell you that, but we had a captain last ceremony pretend that he didn't know he was supposed to speak, so, but that's not true. So, congratulations. I look forward to getting to know you in the future and working alongside you. I was really uncomfortable looking forward to I was looking forward to today and worked very hard to get here, but I was really uncomfortable about being up here and the whole process of the ceremony. And it was once I started thinking about it that really helped me. It's not about me. It's about being able to thank the people that made me who I am, helped shape me into who I am today. So I want to take some time to thank some folks that are really important to me. So, Mom, Dad, thank you for instilling in me the value of family. Thank you for teaching me right and wrong and how to live with integrity. Thank you for introducing me to my faith. I wouldn't be the person I am today without that. To my oldest brother, Jeff, and Joey couldn't make it. He's in New York. Jill, and I'm going to include you in here, Tyson, because you've been around since I was a kid. Thank you for being mentors to me. We never used those terms. We never talked about it like that, but I looked up to you guys. I knew what to do, good and bad, by the example you set. And I need to remember that as I go into this role, that people are watching and that I'm setting the example, whether I know it or I like it. So, Kimmy, thank you to my beautiful bride. Thank you for saying yes and loving me despite my many flaws. Thank you for giving me grace in this journey. Thank you for supporting me as I chased my dream. And you remember this as I move into my role to give grace to my crew, to give grace to the people around me, and to support them as they chase their dreams. To my kids, Daniel, Ben, and Annabelle, thank you for reminding me what's important in life, for smiling and enjoying the small moments. Thank you for being willing to try new things and being willing to fail in the process. Haley and Leah, you inspire me to take change and challenges head on. You have faced many things in your life, but you did it with resilience. Thank you for seeing the positive in tough situations, and thank you for showing me what it means to love a stranger and welcome them to their family. I'm going to try not to cry today, sorry. I swear when my wife got pregnant, I had hormonal changes, and now I'm emotional. And anyway, Chris, where are you? Oh. Thank you for being a true friend. Thank you for going out of your way to serve and being an incredibly selfless, talented, and dedicated firefighter. The department's a better place because of you. Thank you. Mark Hettinger couldn't be here today. He was helping his son, but he was my first captain. And he really set the example and set the stage for me moving forward. He's a man of integrity and he's true to himself. And I wanted to thank him for allowing me to learn the job under his authority, because I came in with no experience and he was incredibly generous in allowing me to learn. I promise there's not too many more pages. Chief McLean, thank you for being a mentor to me. Thank you for believing in me. And thank you for putting your whole self into the job, but not letting it define you. You're first a husband, a father, and a friend. Next, I want to thank my crews. Too many to go through, but thank you, Tower 1, for helping me learn the job, for allowing me time to go sit in my room and study for this test. I wanted to thank my current crew, Dan, Kelly, Kara. I'm excited. We've only had a couple sets together, but I've been thoroughly impressed how you all have stepped up individually to lead in different ways. It's going to be a fun journey. As I look out, I'm not going to take your whole day, but I could go around and thank each one, because you guys have meant something to me in my journey so far. Chief, thank you for setting the vision for the department. Thank you for working so hard to achieve it. Thank you. When you had a choice of so many people, you chose me. I won't let you down. Thank you.
Assistant Fire Marshal Kimball and Captain Woodmansey. In closing, I want to again thank Judge Lane for being here. She is such a part of our PFA family. She's retiring in July, so she's got a couple more of these to go. So we will get to see her again, but we're very appreciative of you and what you bring to us to add honor to our ceremony. For all of you, thank you for what you do. To the families, thank you for your sacrifice that you make as we come into the holiday season. Some of you will be making sacrifices if loved ones are away, providing service to our citizens on the holidays. And for those of you serving, thank you for your sacrifice each and every day that you come to work. So everybody have a happy holiday. Please keep firefighter Jones, his family, the Summit Fire family in your thoughts and prayers as we go through this holiday season, and we'll see you next time.